Good morning, everyone. Happy morning coffee. Remember that every morning means every coffee. Because this is morning coffee with Elio. People always ask me, Elio, what do you really mean with that? Man, it's like you need to relate on coffee to get that to bring that energy level all the way to the top. Hey, today is super excited. Once again, this is Elio Pierre. You are watching Morning Coffee with Elio, and I have a good friend of mine who is the founder of March for Our Freedom, a peaceful and wonderful march that took place last Saturday here in Gainesville, Florida. And we're going to be talking all about it, and how passionate she's about this amazing movement. All of that and more is coming to you after the intro. Here we go. Get up, baby, this morning. This is Elio Piedra. Another morning means another coffee because this is Morning Coffee with Elio. This is going to be a great day. We have a fantastic guest. Welcome back to Morning Coffee with Elio. It is my pleasure, honor, and absolute privilege to have with me Aeriel Lane.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
How you doing? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you, Elio?
I am fantastic. I am super excited to have you here. I feel humble and honored, for having the chance to talk to you this morning. And I know we have a lot of friends. We have you have a wonderful Facebook group with the
Yeah.
by the name of March for Our Freedom. So everybody wanna hear about your emotions, your inspiration, and because this last Saturday, if you are watching this past Saturday, we have a wonderful and peaceful march here in Gainesville, Florida, that took place starting at 11 a.m. until 12:30, and it was huge. We had thousands and thousands of people supporting this amazing cause. But this amazing woman and leader, all right, was the founder. It is the founder. She's the founder and creator of this organization. What inspired you personally?
Well, first, I just want to say good morning to everybody who is so graciously watching my very tired face today. um, it is an interesting story about how it started. We all have heard about the gentleman who was killed, Mr. George Floyd, and I think emotionally, I was in a really bad place on Tuesday night after hearing all of the news reports and just feeling helpless. Um, but that helplessness transitioned into anger on Wednesday morning because I have a little boy who is 8, and he happened to catch wind of it on CNN, and he came to me and said, is this going to happen to you, Mom? Is this going to happen to Mr. Sean? And you guys know Mr. Sean is my partner, so I had I had to lie to him and just say no. And the painful part of that is that know. I don't know if I could be next, if he could be next. We really don't know because there's so much injustice right now. So I cried a little bit. I got in the shower. I sent the mayor a inbox message on Facebook and said, "Good morning. Is there anything that we can participate in? Will there be marches? Will there be protests?" And he sent me back a note and said, "Not that I know of." And that one line was enough for me. And I said, "Okay, well, if there isn't, there is now." So, I think back to things that happen, like there's a car accident and everybody's standing around trying to figure out what to do, and nobody calls 911 because they think the next person's going to do it or that other person will do it. And I started realizing, like, if I don't do it because I think somebody else is doing it, then none of this is going to get done. So let me just put a Facebook page together real quick and see what happens. So my plan was for my friends to come on the page. Maybe they'd invite 10 of their friends and 10, maybe we'd have 50 people with a couple of signs, and we'd go out and march, and then we'd come back and have sandwiches and chill. Well, that is not what took place, as you know. It grew exponentially by the minute. And the only thing that proved to me was that there are people who are just as exhausted by this as I am. We're tired of the hashtags. We're tired of the inaction. We're tired of not knowing what to do. So basically, March for Our Freedom was born out of a shower thought, and we got to get boots on the ground. So,
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
inspiring. So, do you expect as many people as we had last Saturday?
Well, I knew it was, I thought it was going to rain. So I thought, well, even if we have 100 people, that'll be a huge turnout because it's going to rain, and the optics of it, like there's some people who just don't really want to get behind it for various reasons. Coronavirus, or their employers may not be okay with them participating, or they just don't want to support in that way. So I thought maybe we'll have 100, maybe a little less, but that'll be enough for us to have our voices heard. um, but by Wednesday evening, when we had 544 people on the page, and then almost 800 by the next morning, and then 3,000 on Friday, I knew that this was way bigger than I could ever have imagined. So I thought, well, I should probably start preparing what to say to all of these people who are going to show up and really need to hear something that's going to get them motivated and inspired to take action. But I don't know if there's an official number. I was told, somebody told me that the estimate was around 1,700, but I'm not really sure if that's the case or how I can verify that. But I know that downtown was packed, so.
How do you think we can keep building from what is happening?
Elio, that is like the question of the day, minute, hour. You know, when I put this together, I thought we'll march and then we'll go home. And, that may have been a little bit of selectivism on my part. But it never occurred to me that this could be the window or the door to something much, much larger. Um, The question, what is next, is a very loaded one because I prefer that there isn't anything necessary to be next, because something next means we're having more issues. There's another death, there's another hashtag. But I'm hoping that we can channel some of this into voter registration, getting people out there doing the right things in their communities, standing up to public officials, being heard. How to do that, I'm not quite sure about yet, but I'm working on those pieces, and I have a good team of people who are also behind me working on that as well. So,
I gotta tell you, your team is fantastic. You,
yes,
you,
they
gotta
are. They
have a great
are.
team because what
Yes.
happened last Saturday was so wonderful and was epic. Was epic. So people coming together from all different cultures, even like white people, Latin people, immigrants, get coming together to support this cause. How do
Yes.
you feel about it?
That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. It takes my breath away because standing on that stage and looking out into the crowd and looking at the faces, even though they had masks on, it was breathtaking. And to feel that you don't have a voice and 3 days later realize that not only do you have a voice, but there is a gang of people who are standing behind that voice, and they come from across the diaspora. I saw Muslim women, I saw kids, people had their babies in strollers, black, white, Indian, just Asian, everybody. And it was amazing. I do have to commend, and this is not to, pick one group over the other, but I have to commend our white brothers and sisters because they did something to stand up against an institution that privileges them, that serves them, that works for them, and they still rejected that for our sake. And that just feels so good. Um, I want all of us to keep the momentum, and I know it's going to be harder for some of us than it is for others of us. The Black community still has to go back and be Black. It's who we are. The white community has the privilege of being able to go back to their kind of normal lives without feeling the pain of what that feels like to carry every day. Um, but I'm hoping that everybody who is involved, race, religion, creed, will continue to participate and stand up.
That is awesome. What do you think of the response to the protests across the country?
So the good news is that I haven't really had a lot of time to really key in on that. I was worried. I will admit that I was a little bit worried that things could potentially get out of hand, which is why I made basically, I had a heart to heart with the members in the group. And the response was amazing because I wanted them to know that, I have a family, I'm also immunocompromised. I want this to be safe. I don't want this to be fire and brimstone like other places. Um, but Martin Luther King said it best. Protest is the voice of the unheard. Riots are the voice of the unheard. And when people aren't heard, they turn to what's going to be the attention grabber. And I can't say that I disagree or agree with what's happening with the protests right now, but it is definitely getting somebody's attention, and I hope that it continues to do so. The response has been varied from state to state. There are some protests that officers are participating in, and then there are others where people are being tear gassed and arrested and beaten. And I don't agree with that. And I think that these people need to have a voice. We haven't been heard for a long time. If we had been, we wouldn't have so many deaths on our hands. So I'm hoping that this is teaching people a valuable lesson, but I'm hoping that we can also stray away from the violence and start to rebuild our own communities.
I had the honor to come and our show Morning Coffee with Elio. By the way, I appreciate all of you guys for watching, for liking and sharing. Make sure that you share right now the show. We got almost 60,000 views
Wow.
on live streaming. And after that, I gotta tell you, I knew that you were a great dancer, but I didn't know what I didn't know is that you had that great leader within you. You are an amazing leader. You are right now an inspiration not only for the black community but also for our wonderful Gainesville community.
Yeah.
So right now, a lot of people from different generations, the young generations, people from all ages, they wanna learn more about March for Our Freedom. They wanna know more about it. We have hundreds of people reaching out. Hey, we didn't know about this event. We wish that we could have more of this, or we could create like a non-profit or this. A lot of different opinions.
Yeah.
What is the plan right now for Aerial Lane?
Man, oh man. First, I need a vacation.
I know.
um, I really wish I could answer that question with 100% certainty. I don't know. I've been spending a couple days trying to figure out my role and my place in this movement. Um, I know a lot of people are looking to me right now as an activist, and somebody called me a politician and a leader and all these things. But I am just a girl who was pissed off. I was just pissed. And now I am somebody else. It's changed me. I'm a different person in just a few days. Um, I want this to go farther. I just don't know what the direction will be right now. And, I'm praying, I'm talking to people, I'm trying to get my head in like the right place to be able to make those decisions. I do think that it's very important to nail down our messaging. And our messaging is, I know what it isn't. Our messaging is not one of violence or discord, but our messaging needs to be honed and it needs to be focused. So that is my next order of business. And once that is put into place, then we can start working on some action plans. I'm a firm believer that when you hit people where it hurts the most, and for Americans, that is in their pockets, they're forced to make change. And I think if we can kind of alter the economics of things, uh, people will start to hear us. So that may be the next thing. I don't really know what that means or what that looks like, but as soon as I do, I am going to share it and you're going to live stream it.
Yes, we will. We're gonna be there. We're gonna keep supporting this wonderful cause. When you said that March for Our Freedom changed you, let's expand a little more on that. What changed within you as a human being, as a leader? What changed?
Wow, it is. I get so emotional when I think about it, so I'm going to try not to cry my mascara off. But um, I don't know. Like, I went to bed and I woke up a different person, a person who realized that there's so much more than what's happening within your own four walls. Um, I am hearing from people who are supporting me whose parents are on the brink of disowning them. I know someone whose parents left the Gainesville, we were on the cover of the Gainesville Sun and they left it on top of the trash bin for them to see this morning. I know people who are being publicly rejected by their friends and their family. And I realize that this is so much bigger than me just waking up, feeding my child, going to work, and coming home. Um, I have a purpose and I was chosen for this for some reason. I don't know what that reason is just yet, but I didn't choose this. This was bestowed upon me, and I feel like it's my responsibility to um, treat it carefully. Um, but I am not the same person I was on Tuesday. Tuesday, I was just angry. And now that anger is propelling me and pushing me forward to figure out change. And I see the world as a much broader and a much bigger way. So,
So, Les Brown always said that we need to find a purpose bigger than ourselves, bigger than our
yes.
life, and I think you just found yours. You know,
Yeah.
you
I
are
think I
you
stumbled right on it. Yeah.
You are the leader that march for our freedom, been looking for. So that's your purpose.
Wow.
So I wanted to ask you this: do you think racism is something that people choose?
The short answer is yes. Um, the more extended version of that is that I do not believe that people are born racist. And you see it, you see little white kids playing with little black kids. And, my son is biracial and he's 8, but he still refers to his mom as brown and his dad as pink because he hasn't quite figured out the racial dichotomy in the US. And we are doing everything we can to shield him from that. But I do think it's very important to educate him on who he is and what that means ultimately for him. You are not just white, you are also black. And that comes with a great deal of responsibility. Um, I believe that racism is taught, and I believe that racism is taught in so many of our institutions so that people in certain cohorts and levels of society can stay there. Without that racism, everybody's equal. That means everybody can be paid the same, treated the same, respected the same way. And the institution needs to maintain that striation between the races in order to control. So I think it's definitely systemic. And I think racism is not something that can be un. Let me back up. I think people can change. I do believe
Yes.
that people can change. And I think when people choose to change, they do. So many of my friends are educating themselves beyond belief. They want to know, they want to do the right things and say the right things and behave the right way. I had a friend, she's white, who physically put herself in between a man who was trying to start an altercation on the stage and us. She physically put herself between us because she says that her white body will never be damaged and she is here to protect us. And that moved me in a way that was just undescribable. She's unteaching racism. She's doing the work to disconnect herself from that. So I do believe that it's taught, but I do think that people can change, but they have to want to. And until people are willing to give up at least a little bit of their power, they won't.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's been said that you can take the horses to the water, but you can make
You
them
can't
drink it.
make them drink. Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and I also want to say this: with March for Our Freedom, you are having no such an impact in the Black community, but in the also in the immigrant community, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I saw a lot of immigrants from different countries, from all cultures. Again, you just mentioned it: Muslims, Indians. Latin people.
Yeah.
Everybody here knows that I am Cuban and I come from a communist country that I come from the worst government.
Yeah.
So I know how it is to don't have a voice. You can even do what you did last Saturday in Cuba. If I do in Cuba, I wouldn't be here because they will kidnap me or something like that. It is that bad. But going back to the idea of bringing all the community together, we all different all cultures and people from all over the world, and you making an impact on those people, okay, peacefully. And actually we have that documented. We have the video
Wow.
where you say, hey, we are going to take care of each other from the very beginning to the end. And that was priceless.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing because I remember at the end telling people that I loved them and I have never meant anything more. I have never met these people. I don't know their names. I likely wouldn't remember their faces, but I was only there for them. That's it. Um, and regardless of what they looked like or their backgrounds or their criminal histories or their socioeconomic status, I was willing to sacrifice myself for them that day, and I still am. Um, and I hope that people see that, and especially in the immigrant community where they're already so downtrodden, and the Black community, it's so important for them to have a voice. And if I can be that, then I will.
Exactly. I mean, you were honoring, of course, George Floyd, tragedy, and a lot of people were honoring so many different tragedies that happened since, well, been happening for a long time, but especially in 2014 when we had a lot of deaths that year as well,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of different signs, and so how do you feel about dealing with all of this, and especially now when the country is is going so wild right now, from I mean the whole country right now, it is a protest. How
Yeah.
are you dealing with your emotions, with your ideas? How do you feel within you as you prepare towards the next goal? I don't want you to tell me what the next goal is, so how do you
Yeah.
feel?
It is incredibly heavy. I'll be honest. It feels so. I think Saturday we were on such a high. It was almost like we were operating on adrenaline, trying to, corral everybody and get people moving and just, get through it and still be present. I think yesterday morning was probably the worst of it for me because after coming down off of this massive success of a march, I had to sit and realize that this man is still dead. It did not bring him back. These people are still lost. Their families are still missing them. And what does it mean? What did we do? Did we change anything? And I think that part is the hardest part for me because no matter how hard we work, they'll never have their family members back. Um, I am exhausted. I am emotional. I am asking myself if I did the right thing, which is a funny thing, right? Like it almost feels like, but I am so hopeful. I am crazy hopeful right now because I see what this could be. And if we can prevent even one more, just one life, if we can save one life, then I have done my job. Um, but I'm hoping in the next few days that exhaustion and emotionalism and hope can kind of turn into, okay, strap on your boots, let's get started on the next thing. But for now, I'm giving myself some space to kind of to feel it all and not try to suppress it. So
That is so wonderful. That is so wonderful. So, Ariel, it's been so. I mean, I can express, and I am telling you here live that you have my support. The way you are doing things, I'm gonna continue with my support to your cause, to this wonderful movement. We had the honor to be there, not only to march but to document it, and we
yes,
reached over 120,000 people. We reached so much, and with 60,000 views, and it is just incredible how it keeps growing every single day, and people sending messages how
it's phenomenal.
they can support. People are seeking hope. People are
Yeah,
seeking to have a voice. People are seeking to come together, and they are seeking a leader.
yeah.
And I am talking to that leader right now. So let me ask you, what would you say to those people, especially the young generation, that that you just said that they can change, all right, and they can become a powerful voice for their communities across the country. What would you say to them today? Before we go,
I'm so emotional. Um,
Take your time. It's okay.
Sorry. Mostly because um, I would tell them, don't be scared, but I am terrified. I'll be honest. And telling people not to be scared while you are scared is a funny thing. But I think fear is what keeps us from moving forward, and making hard decisions and doing the hard things. Um, I want them to stand up in small ways every single day. And I think when we ignore injustices, even the small ones, that spawns into more injustices and more problems and more issues and more clashes. And I think for our younger generations, if we can get them in the habit of stopping things in their tracks on a consistent basis, we can we can grow these tiny people into people who are strong willed, who will not take bullshit. Sorry for my profanity issues, but we can we can form really strong minds and keep them protected, but empower them. I saw people on Saturday who were not willing to watch any more things go down. They were willing to protect their brothers and sisters at any cost. And I think as long as we can keep doing that, we'll be fine. Just wake up and decide every day that you're going to impact change.
That is so beautiful. Ariel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Thank
much for having me.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for supporting, not only supporting, but for bringing your community together as one voice, one peaceful voice. And it's just amazing to me. And I'm sure that you are going to continue with this cause because your community needs you and people are asking to hear from you. But you deserve like a short vacation. I know, and I'm gonna make sure Sean is watching the video. If not,
Yeah,
please
let them
share
know.
share this show with Sean. But thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for liking and sharing today's show. Thank you for being part of our morning coffee community. We would love to shout out to Ruben, another leader that we had last Saturday. I'm sorry I forgot his last name, but
Falohi.
okay, well, Ruben, thank you for everything you have done for our Gainesville community, and we hope that you can make time for us here at Morning Coffee with Elio. And as I always said, stay inspired, stay in tune, stay tuned, and live full. Remember that Les Brown said, I love this. I love Les Brown, by the way. And he always said, you have something special. You have greatness within you. And I am telling you today that you have not only greatness within you, you have a leader within you. And what you did last Saturday was so incredible. Okay, it's part of history now, and I want to thank you for that. All right, thank you for being here with us. Okay, guys, this is Morning Coffee with Elio. We're gonna see you back on Wednesday with Jade Stanley, live from Jacksonville, Florida, an amazing entrepreneur. Please make sure that you tune in and you like us and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, all over social media. We want to bring that energy level all the way to the top, and we are happy and proud and honored to be here today with Aeriel Lane. But we gotta go. We gotta keep going, keep building, and
We gotta keep moving.
making it
Yes.
happen. Have a wonderful. This is the first date of June, so happy June, happy month of June, and happy morning coffee. We're gonna see you guys back on Wednesday. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much for watching Morning Coffee with Elio. Yes, we're really looking forward to seeing you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Do not forget to like us and follow us on Facebook and become part of the Morning Coffee with Elio community. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and live full.